Countersteering is an interesting and often misunderstood topic in the motorcycling world. This video will give you a brief explanation of what countersteering is and how it works, and present real-world examples demonstrating the explanations. First, let's define countersteering. Countersteering is the act of turning a two-wheeled cycle in one direction by momentarily steering the front wheel in the opposite direction. Okay, technically accurate, but not very enlightening. In order to understand countersteering, you need to understand some basics about how a cycle works. The most important thing is that a cycle is balanced. If it's not balanced, then it's on its side, and you, the rider, are probably pretty unhappy. Going straight, balance isn't that hard. Gravity pulls you down, and there's pretty much no side force involved. Obviously, this is a simplistic explanation, but it'll do for now. When you want your cycle to turn, things get interesting. The cycle has to stay balanced, but it also needs to turn, so it can't be upright. If you were to turn your cycle to the left by simply steering to the left, what would happen? So-called centrifugal force would pull your bike to the outside of the turn. The only part of your cycle which has any friction is the tires, so that would become the pivot point. Your cycle falls over, and you go flying. Not good. In order to balance out the centrifugal force, you want to use gravity. In order to use gravity, you lean the bike into the turn. Gravity pulls the bike one way, and centrifugal force pulls it the other way. They balance each other and the bike stays upright. The more centrifugal force, such as a faster or tighter turn, the more you lean. Note that this is a simplistic explanation and ignores much of the complex physics involved in countersteering and turning, but it's good enough to get an idea of what's going on. The clearest demonstration of countersteering in action is around 15 miles per hour. Watch as the rider rides toward the camera, then steers away. Let's watch that again in slow motion. Keep your eye on the front tire and the bike's angle to gravity. See how the tire briefly aims to your left and the bike quickly leans to your right? Once there's enough lean angle and everything's balanced, he steers into the turn. It's that moment, when the tire is steering away from the turn, that is countersteering. Countersteering doesn't just work for motorcycles. It also works for bicycles, although it happens very quickly due to a bicycle's low weight. In this shot, the rider is coming toward the camera at around 10 miles per hour. As with a motorcycle, it's a simple twitch of the wheel to lean the bike, then steer into the turn. Countersteering both leans a bike over and picks it back up, as this shot demonstrates. As you can see, he steers into the turn to pick up the bike and away from the turn to lean it over again. Interestingly, countersteering works at all speeds. Even at the slowest crawl, it still works, although it may not be the best way to steer your cycle. Here's the same rider on the same motorcycle, only this time he's riding at 3 miles per hour. A quick twitch, and the bike turns away. Again, in slow motion, it's a bit clearer. Keep your eye on the tire and the headlight. Watch again. Note that although countersteering at low speed does work, it's actually pretty hard to do safely. All you want to do is get the bike leaned, and shifting your weight is easier to control at low speed on both bicycles and motorcycles. If you try this at home, be very careful and prepare to drop your bike. Countersteering continues to work at high speed. In fact, it becomes vital. Your bike has a natural tendency to stay upright, which gets stronger the faster you go. So the faster you go, the more you need to actively countersteer even through the turn to overcome this self-righting tendency. At race speeds, racers are actually using a tremendous amount of countersteering force just to keep their bikes leaned over. Unfortunately for the world of video, high-speed countersteering doesn't look like much. This shot shows a 30-mile-per-hour curve, and the countersteering taking place is barely perceptible. At higher speeds, it's effectively invisible. Countersteering is an important skill to master, and it may save your life one day. However, practice it with care and proceed slowly. Too much countersteering input throws your bike on the ground very quickly, and particularly at higher speed, you can remove a lot of skin in a hurry. Always wear your gear, including at least a helmet, gloves, boots, and a jacket. The demonstrations in this video were performed by a skilled, experienced rider.